it's just gonna. Okay, it's recording now. Okay. So for the most part, for most of this assignment, I pretty much almost have it done. There's like other things I have to do, but I don't know how far everybody else is in it, or if anybody else has any questions about anything, or I don't know exactly where people want to start right off the bat. I guess if I'll just. I'm sorry?
I haven't done anything on it.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
I haven't either. Both.
But, and I'm not sure anybody that might be watching where they're at. Why don't you real quick just talk about, I don't know, just give an introduction to maybe where you started and what your strategy was going along?
Okay. So there's about maybe like 5 things that you technically want to accomplish. I know on the homework, I'll just pull that open right now. And, oops, that's the wrong one. Because he gave like a list of things that he wanted to have done. So let me just log into D2L real fast. The first one was creating the ship, creating the ship shape, I guess.
Yep.
That one was actually pretty easy. It wasn't too difficult.
You've done
I could just show you what I have.
Yeah, no, anybody that's submitted the other assignments should be able to figure that one out. So.
Yeah. I mean, for the ship, what I pretty much did is I just kind of copied essentially how the triangle was set up, or how he set that up. And then inside the ship, I just kind of, I just copied sort of like that same schema, except down here where I created lines, they were supposed to be a certain format, and it has it on there. And after I did that, everything worked. Then the next thing is you wanted to try to run the test, which was down here.
Right.
And if I run the ship test, that passes.
Good.
And then the next thing that I did was we had to create the singleton.
Right.
That one was a little tricky.
In what aspect?
I guess for the most part, I didn't really know what a singleton was at first. I wasn't really sure what it was supposed to do. But he gave an example, or he sent something that's on D2L that was like a singleton example.
Yep.
And if you pretty much follow that, it's pretty simple to do. But
do you think that you could now describe what a singleton is?
Honestly, I don't feel like I can.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
No, that's that's totally fine.
I think there was a couple of things I left for reading that were on Slack.
Yep.
One of those did a very good job of explaining it. And then also on Linda, I also linked the video too. And that there's like an entire section just on singletons, and that's like 11 minutes long. So if anybody really has any questions to specifically what that has, they can refer to the Slack page. And then on the, I believe it was the homework 3 hashtag section, that's where all the links should be. So they could refer to that. And then, yeah, the video in Linda that I linked to, that one's like about 11 minutes long. So it's not too bad.
Yeah. So since we've got the test, do you want to go ahead and try and chat about singletons while we're on the call?
Yeah, what's up?
Sure. So, yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the singleton
Okay. Well, what
does.
does it seem like the purpose of a singleton is? And I think I understand it, but I want to get your input, and then I'll follow up. So
the way that I saw it, like pretty much what this is doing is you're creating like 2 private, I guess like almost like not necessarily like variables, but like this is like pretty much where the list is being created almost. And it's supposed to create like a static method so that it makes it easier to implement into, I guess, like other classes or other things like that.
Okay, so with a static method, what's the reason to make any method static?
Well, I guess it's just if you want to try to use that method in another class or try to use it in like outside of that class that was created.
Kind of. So the purpose of a static method is to make it so that you can call the method without instantiating an object. So if you think about like a string method, you have a string and you're calling a method on that string.
Okay.
Caps or string.equals or whatever. So you have a string and you give the name of that object and you call it on that object. But when you call a static method, you don't actually have to instantiate that object. So if you think about like the math class, which is one that people often go to, the math class, the methods in there like round, you don't have to call it on an integer. You call math.round and it rounds whatever you pass in. Necessarily have an object that you're calling it on, you're calling it on the class. And so here it's the same thing where you're calling a static method.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense because that's how over here when it's static, that's why I'm able to call it. Yeah.
Right. So you're not actually calling it on any list. You're calling it and it's dealing with the list that's already created. So how then I guess the next question is understanding a static variable. So what is the purpose of a static variable?
A static variable?
Yeah.
That I'm actually not too sure of either.
Okay, so the purpose of a static variable is that it resides in memory outside of the creation of the, like, it's instantiated and you can go around and you can do other things. So you've got that one object that's instantiated. The class doesn't manage it. You can access it in other places, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense.
So that's why we're adding to this array list. It's a static variable. So it's on that same variable every single time. And that's why it's able, you don't instantiate every time you call, and like you don't create a new array list every time you want to add one. You have the same one.
Okay. Okay. That makes more sense. Because I wasn't 100% sure. I just know that, like, in order to, like, if you make, like, a method static, I know that I can call it in, like, other classes, or I could, like, implement that in, like, the main.
Right.
That's, like, really the only thing I knew so much about static, but that makes a lot more sense, and I can see why it would be better to implement it this way rather than just having the parser and then just integrating it there. But this just, I guess, makes it kind of easy. But I think the other thing that we should probably talk about is just kind of like what the issues with trying to create like a singleton.
Yeah.
And I know that, like, the other thing too, like, this makes it, since you're already making like both, you can still make like the array list private, and you can also make like the shapeless private too. So that's definitely another one of the benefits, so that other people can't access it unless like, you know, like only the developer, I guess, could pretty much have access to it. But like if somebody else were to do this, they couldn't have access to this. So. But I think the other thing too, that when you're going to do tests and everything, it takes longer to use a singleton. So like for speed and everything, it's not ideal because it's usually slower when you try to do that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that was one of the things I found on reading about it, and that's what one of the things that they said is they said that if you use a singleton, that it actually, yeah, it causes it just makes it so that it's like slower. I didn't exactly. I guess it kind of makes sense because it's like one extra step, but yeah.
Well, I think there's more than that. So I think if you've got, in the tests that we're doing, they're super small, right? So we're just creating nothing big. But if you're thinking about so one example of where a singleton might be used is in a GPS system. So there's only one, you would only want one map, like one master map. You don't want to build a new map every time somebody turns on their GPS. You want to access the same map because we're all driving on the same roads. And when we talk about automated driving, you don't want one person having a copy of the map and another person having a copy of the map, and you don't see that vehicle is in front of you, right?
Right. No, I totally understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we all have to use the same one. Well, the reason that it's slower then is because you have to synchronize it. So that means only one person can add to or take away or whatever. Only one person can use those methods at a time, or one object. So they have to all line up. So you have to essentially put everybody in a queue to use those methods.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's why.
So then like a singleton would allow someone to use, I guess, sort of like the same thing, but it would be somewhat universal in the same sense, or it would be like a universal base.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've all got the same things, but I cannot. If I add a new turn to the neighborhood, everybody needs to see that turn, and so we can't all add different things. You have to add it so that it synchronizes across the entire map.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. It's actually
that's why it slows down.
Thanks for explaining that. That really makes a lot of sense.
Is it good?
And also, I guess also in the career that I'm in, I'm kind of in that field with using maps and everything, so that actually made a lot more sense to me than something else.
Okay. I'm actually getting ready to start that. I just got a job offer earlier this week, so.
Oh, for what?
Go down and work at Here. It's a navigation company. They're in autos and.
Yeah, I know exactly who they are. They used to be owned by Nokia and stuff. Actually, I'm a GIS tech. I don't know if you know exactly what that is.
Not 100%, but vaguely.
Once you work it here, you'll probably know more about that. But that's pretty much like everything that deals with like GPS without trying to get too much into it or anything. But yeah, I pretty much work with like geographic data and then also trying to create like maps and do stuff like that. I'm probably doing a terrible job of explaining it, but anyways, moving along.
Hey, got a quick question. You mind if the ship is supposed to be like super easy, but when I run the test, I'm getting 2 failures, and I'm not sure what's happening there.
Yeah, actually, I got my ship class open. I'll open it for you.
Yeah.
Probably the errors that you'd have would probably be inside this area when you're creating the lines.
Mm-hmm.
I know mine looks kind of jumbled and messy right now. I can try to clean that up. But there were kind of, there's like a list if you are on D2L.
Yeah. Okay.
There's like a section where he explains what line 1, line 2, like line 3 and line 4. He explains exactly what they're supposed to be. So
he did. And I think that'll make it so much easier if I actually read the instructions.
Yeah, that might help. But after I did that, like, I don't know. I didn't even know we had to run the test when I did it. I haven't even seen the test fail, so I was like, am I doing this right? But
Hopefully.
I don't know. And then I tested the ship, and it's just supposed to be like a triangle where the bottom's almost like inverted up.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what the ship's supposed to look like.
A Star Trek badge.
Yes, exactly. That's a very good way to explain it.
Gotcha. It's like the one he demoed in class.
Yeah. But
Demo, I'm a little behind on the lectures.
yeah, I'm kind of behind too. I've been busy with a lot of stuff, and I was sick recently, so
Oh,
yeah, it kind of sucks. But I don't know if you got this with the ship, but it'll explain it inside there. Yeah. And then also, since I'm recording this, you'll probably see this section anyways. But so yeah, that was like, I mean, really the ship, and then running the test was the easy part. The singleton, like, I had a little bit of trouble for a while, but then after he gave that example, it made a lot more sense. And then after Allison explained it, it made even more sense. So that's cool.
Good.
But then I don't know if you want to move on to the next step.
Yeah, we can go right to the next step. I got it now.
Okay, cool beans. I'm just going to go on D2L real fast, and I'm just going to see. So step 1, well, technically step 3, we were supposed to create the strategy, and that's part of the problem that I'm having
okay.
a little bit of trouble on, because we're supposed to, right now, there's 2 strategies. There's pass-through, and then there's
rebound.
Yeah, rebound. And so if I, oh, do I not have those open? Oops. Strategies, there they are. So this is what, okay. This is what pass-through looks like. And I guess, like, overall, for the most part, I understand kind of like what this is supposed to do. Because it looks like it's supposed to change right. And that's supposed to be like if right's, I mean, it's just pretty much like right now it's just gonna, it's gonna go with right, and it's supposed to make it, oh, man, I thought I almost had it. I guess it's just supposed to move everything so that it continually moves, it moves like one way. And it also does that for top to bottom. That's pretty much what these other parts are for too. And I think that, like, if it says, I'm not sure if it says else, and that's, I want to say that this is when it's supposed to allow it to pass through. Because if, I'm not sure what happens if I don't have this, but I think it would just keep on moving over to the side, and then it just like wouldn't, appear on the other side. But the rebound, though, I'm not 100% sure exactly what to do with that, because I don't know. He said something about detecting and making sure if it hits the corners, like, to make it stop doing that, and I didn't exactly know what he meant by that.
I think so it seems to me that what you would do, if it hits an edge, you just change the direction of whichever edge it hits. Like if it hits a side, then you're going to change your X from positive to negative, or negative to positive. So if it's going right on your X-axis and it hits the right side, you want to make it so that it turns around and goes left instead.
Okay.
So all you're doing is changing that X or that Y, depending upon which border it hits.
Okay. So I guess I'd have to
similar to what he's got there, where if the the right is less, or I guess if the left is less than or equal to 0, then
So it's less than or equal to.
so then you'll take and I would say do your left and your right. So if if less than or equal, or right is greater than dimension dot get width.
Okay.
Get one of the sides, then you take -1 and multiply it by your x.
So left is less than or equal to 0, then this part's confusing.
Put it in the pass through. Go back to it.
To the pass through.
Yeah.
Should
So
I create?
see how he. His left and right. So rather than changing the left and the right, we're going to change the x or the y.
Okay, so would it be n width equals left minus right?
Let's go back to the rebound.
Okay.
Seriously just says invert x and y. So is the amount that it's traveling horizontally or vertically. So it's traveling 5 pixels or it's traveling 100 pixels in each jump. So x equals -1 times x.
So, dang, sorry, I think your sound keeps cutting out, or it sounds jumbled.
Sorry, x equals 1 times x.
I think it cut out again. No, that x. Or should I do? I don't want to do with.
Type it in chat. I don't know if that helps.
So what I
just completely lost sound. Can you hear me
I can, but it sounds like you're fading.
still? We're not changing. Can you hear me still? I can't hear anything anymore.
I don't know. Can you still? Where's that?
Yeah, she's coming in and out.
Yeah, you keep coming in and out.
Look in chat. Damn it.
Oh, x equals 1 times x.
Is this any better?
Yes.
Yeah, I think.
Okay. Yeah, so it's -1 times x, not +1.
Oh, -1 times x.
Yep. Because we can't just do -x, can we? No, I think we need to use the x.
No, we couldn't because you'd have to. Yeah,
right.
That would.
So does that make sense what we're doing?
Well, I just don't know when x falls into place with all this stuff. Because for pass through, I know that rebound's going to probably be different, but I guess I'm just not 100% seeing where pass through
Okay.
more like x, where the x and y. Mm-hmm.
Pass through doesn't affect the x and y because it still travels at the same rate. X and y are the rate of travel. So it's either moving however many pixels it's got in X and Y, that's how many, it's the rate and the direction. So if X is a positive number, it's traveling to the right. If X is a negative number, it's traveling to the left. Just like if you were points on a graph, you're just going to the right, however many pixels are in X, or to the left. Or if Y is positive, you're going up the graph. If Y is negative, you're going down the graph. So on the pass-through, that rate and direction of travel doesn't change. What changes is the location of the ship. So on the pass-through, it circles around and comes back on the other side.
Right.
So on the rebound, instead of doing that, it hits the wall, and then the direction of travel changes. So if I'm going 5 spaces to the left every time, when I change, I'm still going to keep the same number, so that's why it's times X, but then I'm going to invert it. So I'm just multiplying it by -1.
So that okay, I see, because that just means it's just going to switch it, so that's going to start going the other way. And
exactly.
So then would this be else if zeros? So then when I do else if would that be right is less than 0? Then would it be, oh geez.
No, because 0 is the far left boundary of the whole thing. So it needs to be if right greater than the right side. And that I think we get by doing dimension.getWidth. To your if statement.
Another if statement afterwards?
No,
or enter inside
go in
here?
the same one.
Dimension.get.
In the argument for your if statement.
The argument?
Yes. So you're going to do if left is less than or equal to 0 that you're passing.
Mm-hmm.
If I can type this. Equals 0, 0. Right. Than or equal to option. Okay, put that in your.
Oh, put that inside the. Oh, okay.
Yes. So you're going to handle both your left and your right side. You reverse the direction of your X. If it hits the right side, you're going to reverse the direction of your X. It's going to do the same thing. So let's hand an if statement.
You want me to put that inside, like
on line 20. Yep.
Oh, okay, inside there. So you want me to?
Yeah, and go ahead and add your equal on your left as well.
Equal. Oh.
Less than or equal to.
Like this?
Yep.
Okay. So if the right, so left is greater than or equal to, what dimension get with? Right is greater than get with.
So then you'll do the same thing with the top and the bottom for Y.
So would I? So would this if statement be completed then, or is that one finished?
Yeah. Yep.
So then this one would be if that'd be if top is less than or equal to.
Do our dimensions start at the top or start at the bottom?
Oh, bottom.
Top would be the max value, right?
Well, it looks like over here it has it just listed 0, 0.
Right.
So
if 0, 0. Then the top dimension is, so let's do if top.
I'm sorry, I cut out again.
Top is greater. No, I've got a bad cord. If top is greater than or equal to height. Exactly.
Is that what I typed in the chat window there?
I didn't see the chat window. So if bottom, top. I see. Okay.
Yeah. Brian, don't feel bad. The only reason I saw it was because I was about to go type.
I figured typing it was easier than trying to say it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, go ahead and, okay, so you've got both of them are top.
No, this one needs to be bottom.
Yeah, and your arrow needs to change from greater than to less than.
Bam.
Yep. Got it.
And then this one, would it be y equals
Yep.
-1 times y? Okay. Okay.
Perfect.
So then this would work? Well, I could test it.
Should.
Actually, if I go to homework 3. So this was like actually the next part of the homework. I don't know if you want me to, because there was another step before, like getting everything to work, and that was using the static methods that were inside motion.java, which is this one. And if you see inside here, there's a static method for start observing, and then the other one's going to be for stop observing. And those ones were supposed to be added to the main in homework 3. And I left his notes wherever it said to do, so that I know where I made those changes and stuff. But over here, this is pretty much where I added those methods. So then I would just type in motion.start observing, and then that would be added to the shape output. And from what I can see, yeah, because it looks like they're using like another. They're just using get motion there. It's adding the observer, and then it's just going to remove if it's no. So yeah, I mean, this one was pretty easy to understand. I think some people had trouble because they were trying to use the I think they were trying to use the JCustom panel, because inside there, where does it say that? Because there's motion. Oh. This interfaces observable.
Okay.
Okay, that makes more sense. Implements runnable, which that's going to be in interfaces. But yeah, that was the other part, but that one was pretty easy to figure out. But then if I run this, and I'm not sure if it's going to show up on the screen. Actually, I could probably change my screen so that I can share that. Oops. And then you guys should be able to see that, right? Okay. So if I hit start, yep, it looks like it's...
Let's see if anything. Oh, look at that rebound.
Yeah, it's rebounding.
Yep, you've got vertical and horizontal.
Yep.
So is it supposed to be down on top and bottom as well, or I guess it
Yes.
is, but
So some of them rebound and some of them pass through. It depends on which boundary they hit.
Yeah, it depends on which, also what strategy, I guess, was being used, which, because inside the, if you look at like the way that the,
May have a different.
it's going to do percent everyone. Because if you look at the, this is just like the main shape class. It's actually going to, looks like, yeah, it's creating a new ice strategy, which I believe ice strategy, that's an interface. And so that interface, which is, God dang it. Factories, collections. I sworn there was just one that just said interfaces. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it looks like that's just supposed to return. That's actually, that looks like the strategy is just supposed to return the shape, but then, okay. But that makes a little bit more sense. And I guess there was a couple more things that we had to do. Like, I know that we had to create another set template. But inside on D2L, and he explains that, finish the sentence and pattern in Java. Test with shapes.json. And it says that we're supposed to create a subtemplate of our own. And then it says for the description on that, it just says try creating one of your own, like a shape template that could take something like shape template T1, T2, where T1 might be an I shape and T2 might be an I strategy. It will help you prepare for the midterm. So if I look at the shape template, this is pretty much what it looks like. And it looks like it's just returning. Okay. So does that mean that whenever it returns something, is each one of these set to being a certain shape, or I'm not sure exactly what it's supposed to return whenever you use the set template?
I have no idea what he's saying to do with this.
Yeah, that's...
Just do it in the main. Oh, no, that's right. That's right. Never mind. So in there, create one of your own like shape template. Or is that, oh, never mind. That's what he's wanting us to create.
Yeah. He wants us to create another one.
So he wants another constructor is what I'm...
Another constructor?
Right? As in copy shape template. But instead of having 7, you only have
2?
Yeah. So instead of...
So would I...
Or having to have T in the same location.
Would I put this inside the same location?
Yeah.
And I guess I'll call this one...
I call that shape template.
Template. Okay.
So instead of having one. So just get rid of the last 5 arguments.
So these ones.
Yep.
Well, I also have to get rid of these ones too.
Yep. There, as well as in your
yeah, the
top.
all these guys.
Yep.
Oh, too far.
You
I also have to get rid of these.
rebound. Yep. One more place. You see it? Line 3.
Line 3. Ah, oh, son of a diddly. Okay. And then would I change these, like T1? So if that says T1 and T2, oh, gotta get rid of that.
I literally think that's all he means.
Just do that?
Yeah.
But I think one of them is supposed to be, see the one part where he says something like, on here, where it says like T1, where T1 might be an I shape and T2 might be an I strategy. So I think what that tells me is that when it's an I shape, I think it's not supposed to move at all. I think it's just supposed to stay there, if that makes sense.
So what I think he's meaning by this, array list, it can be an array list of integers, it can be an array list of some other object that you don't even specify. I think what this is it's an object created of 2 objects. And those objects might be a shape, and one of those objects, but we don't know. So the T1 and the T2, that's going to be like the E where you specify what those are.
So if I were to specify, would I specify that over here? And instead of saying like private T1, would this be like private I-shaped T1? Or
you're making it so that whenever it's called, the object that T1 is declared. So if I pass in a string, then T1 is a string. If I pass in an integer, T2 is an integer. It's whatever you pass in there is what it's supposed to be.
But how would I pass in things into there, I guess?
With line 9, that's your constructor.
It's line 9. Oh, down here?
Yeah, so whatever type T1 is, that's what type line 5 becomes.
So if I were to change, could I change this one to like?
No. When you call it. So you know how when you build an array list, you say, within the double arrows, you put like string, you put the type.
Oh, like over here?
Right, so this would, whenever you call the constructor, so you would say shape tuplet, double arrow, string, comma, int, and then you would close the arrow, give the name of it, so new shape, and then say equals new shape tuplet, and then again your double arrow, where on the left you put the type of the first and on the right. So that is where you declare what type you're using. So here, this is a more, it's a more abstract way, so that this doesn't lock you into a specific type. You tell it the types that you're going to use. Okay. So literally this is done.
Really? That's all he wanted?
Yeah, that's all he wanted.
So I just had to remove things? Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So look over array list, and it's, I forget what the term is. It's whatever those elements are.
Okay.
So you can dynamically at runtime tell what type of element you're feeding into that. So this is just, it's essentially like a pair of things. So it's almost like a key value pair.
So, okay, but so would this be like inside of like if I were to like parse that JSON file, would like T1 be something that would be set? So like T1 would be something set where it would be like a triangle, and then like T2 would be like a circle. So it's just like, I don't know how to explain it.
No, because this is going to be, if you're parsing the JSON file and you're passing stuff into this particular thing, T1 would be the shape. So T1 would be a shape object. It would consist of left, right, top, bottom, X, Y, rotation, color.
Okay.
T2 then would be the strategy. So it's going to be rebound or pass through or whatever, if we add more strategies.
Okay.
So that's what you're going to pass in, is on the left you're going to pass in a shape, and on the right you're going to pass in a strategy.
A strategy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just, so then what's like the benefit of doing it this way? Because couldn't I just create like an array list and then just be like a shape array list, and it already like implements strategy, so that would just be like another, I guess, parameter or another part of it.
Yeah, I don't know that there necessarily would be any benefit to this in this particular exercise. I don't know that it helps us on this one.
Gotcha. Okay. But then,
except that it maybe the point of it is that you've got the pair linked. So like if you think about the point class, you're linking an X and a Y when you build a point. So here you're linking a shape with a strategy. And so you may have 5 coordinates that have the same Y value, but you're linking an X with, so units that have the same strategy, but here each shape tuplet it's a pair that has a shape and a strategy particular. It's got the shape then would be the attributes, and the strategy would be the behavior. And so you're linking the attributes and the behavior into one model.
Okay. So I think that kind of makes more sense, because I'm trying to think like, if I wanted to use, like, for instance, if like strategy, if I had like a different interface and strategy was used differently in that interface for like that second component, then if I wanted to make it like, I guess that makes, okay, so like from what he was saying, like when it says like, do I want to make this like with do I want it to implement iShape, or do I want it to implement iStrategy? And
so what you can do then is, by using that septuplet, you can have that same shape and you can change to a new strategy. So you could pass in, okay, right now I've got this shape and it's doing this one thing, but I want to change it and I want to have it rebound rather than pass through. And so you could in essence build a setter there, and you could say, okay, instead of using the current T2, the current strategy, I'm going to switch and I'm going to set a new strategy.
Okay.
But that way you don't have to pass in the entire left, right, top, bottom. You don't have to pass in all 7 dimensions. You just pass in the shape.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense now.
And then you can also change the shape of your object. So say you've got an object that is a rocket, and then you've got an object that is a rocket with a wing blown off, but it still has the same strategy. It still passes through. You
just want to have it be like a different shape or a different object, but but use the same strategy or implement the same strategy.
You don't want to build an entirely new object there. You just want to change the type. So you're going to call your factory and get a different type of object with the same dimensions. Okay. But you still got that one. You don't want to build a new enemy every time you change the shape. You just want to change the type of enemy that it is.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense when you explain it that way.
I'm kind of winging it, so.
No, I mean, it does, yeah, because if you wanted to change the strategy and you only wanted to do that based off of the object, you'd have to change like that iStrategy section, and you'd have to pretty much pass a new object. But this way, it's like, no, I want to keep that same object with this, because I mean, instead of just like copying that twice, it's more efficient to change the strategy and then to change the entire object completely, or vice versa. If you want to change the strategy but keep the object, or
Exactly.
That makes more sense. I get that. Okay.
Cool.
I think for the most part that was the only other thing that I'd have to do would be to create. Okay, wait a second.
Beef up the JSON.
Do what with the JSON?
Beef it up.
Oh, beef it up. Is that what it says?
He says add additional tests of your own.
But I think those tests, what he meant to do more unit test. I don't know if that was supposed to go inside the JSON file, but I think that was the part I was gonna.
He's told us every time to add more shapes to the JSON, hasn't he?
Well, I thought that we just pretty much use the JSON that's already provided.
Oh, I thought every time he's told us to add more shapes.
I think that's what he told us initially, but then I think a lot of people struggled. So, like, especially with the last one for homework 2, a lot of people had a lot of trouble, I guess, using that JSON file, especially when it came to the colors.
That's so weird. I thought it was really simple.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure. Well, you saw by how much he extended homework 2.
Yeah. Well, I think it also helps that we get together and we do this together. We can bounce ideas off each other.
Yeah.
This group has been absolutely phenomenal. Just saying.
Right. It totally rescues all of us.
Yeah, it does. Okay.
So, EJ, did that make sense to you, what we were talking about with the shape template there?
It did, and I had no idea what we were talking about prior to that conversation, and I was really struggling with figuring out why, if this works with just taking out or working with those 2 parameters, then why do I need a septuple in the first place? But
right. So, yeah. So the septuplet, I think, is meant to contain all of the parameters that are of the shape. So it contains the left, right, top, bottom, X, Y rotation or something like that. So it contains those 7 things. And if I just want to change the left or I just want to change the right,
you can just pass those 2 there.
Yeah. That's why.
Versus having to pass 7 arguments again.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Or creating like a completely new JSON with completely different. So yeah, if you just wanted to have like the left only be set to like 40 or something, I don't know why, but whatever, you just want left to just only be 40, then you'd have to create all new objects. But this way, you go to the septuplet and you just make the septuplet like that parameter or whatever. I think it's like that would probably be T1 because that's gonna be the first parameter. You just change that to 40 and then it changes it for all of them. Otherwise, it's just gonna take whatever's already being parsed in. But
I got a feeling this is the essay question.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm taking the class online, so I still have a week to study.
Yeah.
But that's one of the benefits of taking it online.
Yeah.
Yeah. When are you taking it?
Sometime after Tuesday.
Oh. Okay.
I'm taking it next Saturday.
Oh, that's when I'm taking it.
Is it nice? Are you taking it here in Naperville?
No, I'm taking it at the Chicago one because I'm closer there. Okay. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I'm taking it early. I don't know. I just like to get those tests done with early because I think I did one like later in the day and it just it just made the day I like thought I'd take that time to study, but I didn't. And
no, you don't. It's better to just get up and get it over with.
Yeah, that's the way that I see it. So I'm like, whatever, I'll just get up, get it done with, and then I won't have to worry about it. So
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, okay. So
that's the entire assignment then?
I think the only other thing that we had to do is he said he wanted us to create other JUnit tests, kind of like for the ship, but I don't really know where, like, I see, like there's all these.
Where does he say to create other JUnit tests?
Let
I
me.
see he says add additional tests, but I didn't see that. But number 70 says add additional tests, but I feel like that's just adding shapes to the JSON. I don't think it's additional.
Do you think that's when he? Actually, I
Yeah.
think you're right because right here it says. I think you're right because it says test with JSON with shapes.json. Make sure to add
Oh,
additional test of your own.
yeah.
So I think you're right. I think you're yeah. That makes more sense because in there,
Because
like
the blanket stuff is a completely different number. That's clear up here on number 2, and there's nothing about tests in that, about adding your own.
yeah, I think I got confused by when he said test, is I thought that he meant test to test like other parameters. And when I see this entire thing, and over here, there's like I have to do a test for collections, a test for exceptions, a test for. I'm like, how am I supposed to test all this stuff? Like, what more can I really add to do that?
Right.
But
Yeah.
this is just really just to add more to the JSON file.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That,
Which is stupid simple.
yeah, that you just got to add more files and stuff, and I don't
Yeah.
know. Dang it! I can never get that right. I hate.
Oh.
Side question. So what is homework 4?
This
He hasn't
is
figured it out yet, has he?
no. This is homework 4.
What-
He combined homework 4 and 3 with these two.
So what
No,
was the bonus he was talking about?
There's another one.
I haven't seen it. It said something about like Dropbox, which like I don't know.
Okay, here, I'm pulling it up.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, build Java docs.
Build Java docs.
Yeah, too easy. Just add a bunch of comments and go done.
Just add comments to this, and that's it.
Yeah, add comments to every single file in there and make sure that it's well documented, and then just generate your Java doc. It's easy.
Well, okay. So we just have to. Well, how would you generate the Java docs then?
It's up in the menu somewhere. I haven't used it. I've done it in NetBeans. I've never done it in Eclipse, but it should be. It's just one of the. Let's see. It's got a built-in generator. Let me look here. Project generate Java doc.
Bam, right there. I see it. I don't know if you can see it on my screen, but it's under projects, generate Java doc. So how would that? So
Crazy.
would I just have to select? Would I just have to like select what like a project?
No, it should do it for your whole. It should do it for the whole project all in one. And then it just creates one. Have you never generated a Java doc before at all?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God, they're amazing. So you know how you go on and you search Oracle for the class files, and it has the methods and it has the parameters and all that, and the inputs and the outputs. That's what a Java doc is, and it links the same way Oracle does it. It's super intelligent. I love it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're amazing.
So that's pretty much all he wants us to do is like.
So you just heavily comment it, and then
Yeah. Yep.
that's it.
Yep.
Okay.
So make sure you take a look at the link he's got on there. You can submit markdown style. I don't know what that means. So look at the link for markdown style. Oh.
He.
And you get
So this is homework 3. Then what's homework 4?
homework 4 is the Java doc.
Oh, I see. Okay. But that's not even due until the 30th? Wow.
No,
Okay.
yeah, so what he did was he combined homework 3 and 4 into one assignment.
And then I guess he made 4
homework
extra
3.
credit or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm supposed to take this place of our lowest grade.
Yep.
Okay.
I know, I was pissed when he eliminated one of the homeworks. I was like, no, I got a 50% on my first one. I need the...
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
How?
I know, it sounds really pathetic. So part of it was I was using NetBeans and I couldn't get it to compile right.
That's
So I didn't even bother trying. It was a J custom paint. It was I did for homework too. I was like, fuck it, I'm just downloading Eclipse and we're gonna do it with that. So
wow, that's really, because I don't know, I mean I passed my first one and I thought, because I know we had to write like that paper, and when I did that, like I just
that's the other reason is I didn't build the UML or the X. Yeah, I didn't build the UML.
Oh, was that for the second one? Well, the second homework, I think for the first one we didn't have to. The second homework, I don't know.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Oh, you
The first
didn't
one we
write
were supposed to write that.
short paper?
Write that. Yeah, because I was working till like a minute before. I was like, David, I gotta submit this, and it's not even working. I don't have time to write about it. I completely get it, but it's just like,
Oh,
I gotta get my life in order. Oh.
That sucks. Okay.
It was all good.
Well, you could just generate some Java.
I can overcome a single fifth.
All right. Well, does anybody else have any other questions about the homework or anything, or?
No, I don't think so. I think I understood what you did in the two requirements in the homework 3 file, but I think that was it.
Oh, the homework 3.
All you had to do was implement those two.
I mean, that was kind of like honestly, like it's. I mean, when it says stop observing and start observing, like right there inside motion, like it's almost kind of like given away. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, I don't know if this is right, but I'm gonna try this, and I'm like, holy crap, it works.
It worked. Yeah, I was shortly confused on that, and as soon as you showed me, yeah, it's like that makes so much sense.
That was weird because like I even on the Facebook, and I saw even on the forums, I guess like a bunch of people had a lot of trouble for that, and I'm like, that's, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I have like that great of a grasp on it, but I was able to do it, so I don't know.
Hopefully, after if you post it in the group, and hopefully everyone else will get it too.
Okay. Awesome. Well, if nobody else has any questions, I guess I'll probably go because I gotta wake up at 5 o'clock tomorrow.
No, man, I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, are you gonna post the link now? Or are you gonna?
Yeah, I'm gonna probably end this, and then I'll probably post the link on the Facebook page, and I'll also post it in Slack too.
Okay. Awesome.
So
thank you guys.
Sounds good.
No,
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good
night.
Yeah. Bye.
Oh.